Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Entertainment Banter. My name is Joel,
And I'm Matt.
and for this evening, we are going to sing sweet, sweet debating banter.
Wow. We're going to sing it, huh?
Did I say sing? I meant
I
sensually speak it.
can't. Okay, let's get this thing rolling. I can't. Let's go. What are we talking about today, Joel?
Action figures and collecting
Action
them.
figures.
Or just toys. Collecting
Toys
toys.
in general. Oh, toys in general. Now are we talking
Toys.
like overpriced sports car toys or
No, we gonna. I think we should narrow it to
rubber duckies and pools?
I think we should narrow it down to movie and television and memorabilia toys.
Collectibles.
I just said
Like-
that. Like I said,
Like statues? Like statues?
Statues can count, or like
Okay.
the most
All right.
famous one that has been going around a lot lately is Star Wars. Those little
Star
those 4-inch figures.
They're 3 3/4
Why?
because that's what they decided to design at the time, and they thought it would
Whatever.
work.
The 4-inch figures are
3 3/4. Keep going.
those are very popular. They were back in the if you're lucky enough to have the originals from what, the 70s, 80s,
70s.
you have a small gold mine on you. And then if you got them when they mass produced them in the 90s, what they call it, the Power of the Force,
Power of the Force.
those are the green and orange card ones. The cards,
Yeah.
the cards are the backings. I'm learning
You
a
sound
lot.
like an expert all of
I
a
know,
sudden.
right? Right. Those aren't worth much at all. People started collecting those thinking they were going to be worth a lot, my dad included. And then recently they released, in the last, 15, 20 years, they released the vintage collection that looks like
Yes.
the old school 80s, 70s ones.
Yeah, it's a throwback. The cards
Right.
on the toys is a throwback to the originals, yes.
So those are going for some money too. If you have a lot of those are some cash holders.
Yep. Yeah.
But
So-
Matt, but what makes, I want to ask this because I'm looking into your room right now and I can see that you have one or two toys.
I do. They're called collectibles. They're called collectibles.
So your toys,
No, they're
your
totally
dolls,
toys.
Your
They're
dolls.
totally toys. Yeah, I play with them.
I can imagine you in your room late at night. Pew 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 pew.
Spaceballs, man. Like your helmet is so big.
I'm glad you brought up Spaceballs. So let's talk. We're on Star Wars, and let's talk about why they're so popular, and how Spaceballs, you can't get any Spaceballs toys at all. It's weird because when a movie comes out, what's one of the main things they do with the movie? Like one of
Of
these.
course, there's a toy line that goes.
There's a
along
toy
with
line
it.
that wants to go
Yeah.
line with it. Okay.
Well, and George Lucas started that, you know.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I'm gonna do like as fast as I can as a history lesson about toys because people may or may not know. Okay, like we had back in the day, Mattel and Hasbro, they would make things like Barbie-sized GI Joes and Barbies, and
we talking
there's-
70s.
I'm talking like 50s and
50s.
stuff. Like and so like
Old.
so they were like that's what they started, and then
Okay.
and then in the 80s, toys shifted, and a lot of people like Hasbro went to Japan and started buying the rights to the toys in Japan. They brought them to
Okay.
America, and then basically those
America.
toys were made into TV shows, which were technically 20-minute commercials, and it changed the laws and rules of how we broadcast to our kids these days about toy merchandise.
Almost like
Long-
cartoons are being made just to sell toys.
Right. So that had to change. So basically now the rule is you have to make the show first and then the toys. You can't do it the other way around. You can't
Why
buy
not?
toys and
Why
make
not?
shows around it.
Why not?
Because people were saying, other toy companies were saying at the time, that it's not fair that Hasbro made basically a 20-minute commercial, because you're watching a 20-minute commercial. You're watching a cartoon like G.I. Joe,
Transformers.
the miniseries, and Transformers and all those things. So then, Mattel got on the bandwagon. He-Man came out, Milo Ponies, all these things, and they just evolved from there.
Are
But
you a
merchandising-
brony? You're a brony.
You're such a dumbass. No, I'm not a brony. There's nothing wrong with bronies. I'm just not one. The thing about it is my wife has collected, by the way, Pinkie Pie. She does like the Pinkie Pie character from My Little Pony, just so you know. So I'm fully aware of that whole franchise because of that.
All right, go on, go on.
But what I was going to say is Star Wars was the first real thing in the 70s and early 80s that triggered this marketing where movie connections and toy lines met. They actually did it. There's some lines that kind of were successful before Star Wars, like Planet of the Apes. They actually did Planet of the Apes toys, but it was Star Wars that really like streamlined this. And George Lucas was basically the mastermind behind this whole marketing with movies. And we talked about it fast forwarding, maybe 5-7 years ago, where like you mentioned movies like X-Men and stuff. Well, when movies came out, X-Men toys came out, or Spider-Man toys came out, and Spider-Man movies came out. But then politics come into play, and Disney wanted to strong-arm Fox at the time, so they stopped making X-Men toys. They stopped Fantastic Four toys. They
because
killed the
Fox,
comics at the time.
Because Fox only had the rights to the X-Men movies, but the toys line was still a Disney. At that point, became a Disney merchandise. So if you wanted to release toys with that, you had to go through Disney.
Right. Well, and this it
was a power move.
So there's a couple of factors. So toys became extremely popular, streamlined, mass-produced, mass quantity in the 80s, and you had places like Toys R Us, KB Toys, all the major retailers would carry them. It was accessible. Nowadays, there's collectors clubs where you can only get things through exclusives through clubs. There's things that basically you have to go to a location or an event to get. And now, because it's harder, because a lot of those brick and mortar stores are closing, places like Hasbro and other places, they took such a hit. I mean, it's politics all over the place, but like with The Last Jedi, Hasbro took such a hit. Disney demanded so much money for the rights to produce those toys that they're learning their lessons. We can't mass produce anymore. We have to streamline our business. We have to be more selective of what we're making.
Where are they putting the toys? Because if Toys R Us is no longer around.
Well, a lot of people are buying literally through distributors now, like online distributors. Like you can still, and now there's like exclusives only to Target or only to Walmart or only to Walgreens. So like it's become this thing where like when I was a kid, if I wanted a Transformer, it would be kind of hard to hunt for it. But there was enough stores that and there was no internet. You couldn't buy it off eBay. You couldn't buy it off Amazon.
Real quick, let's have nostalgia real quick. You got KB Toys. You had Toys R Us.
Yep.
You had. I'm out of them.
I know. I feel like there were more.
I feel like there were more.
I think there were more. I can't think of any more either.
I mean, I remember going to Babbage's was one of them, I think, with like video games. You can buy some action figures at GameStop, Electronics Boutique, before they became GameStop.
That became later. Right.
But like Toys R Us, KB Toys, Suncoast. My dad bought toys at Suncoast. I remember that.
Right.
Walmart still, Target.
Yeah. But see, now it's like I said, it's more
Kmart,
about exclusives.
Kmart.
Like there was Kmart exclusives, Walmart exclusives. And so it's become a problem. What I was going to say was, like, when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet, so you didn't have eBay or Amazon and all this stuff to get stuff. But what was cool is you could walk anywhere. You could even walk into a drugstore and like they might
had
have
toys,
a small toy
like
section.
a Thrifties.
And they might have what you were looking for. You never know.
You never know.
But nowadays that doesn't exist. It's the toys were regularly priced.
Well, they found
but
like
now they're. Well, go ahead. Well, I was gonna say, like, when I was a kid, I could buy an X-wing for for Star Wars.
No,
I
of
could buy an
course
X-wing for like $20-$30.
Of course, they inflated it. Yeah.
But now it's like $100 for an
Well,
X-wing.
yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, what parent would pay $100 for a kid to break a toy in like 5 seconds? It's catered to our generation now, which sucks because I feel like
it grew up with
really
us.
have toys.
Right. Well, because it grew up with us. Because now, like, they saw that people would buy things like, oh, well, the old toys are worth a lot of money because there's not many of them around. They're rare. So now they're releasing like exclusive toys, like come to Comic-Con and get this exclusive, I don't know, Mega Man toy now because Capcom started producing exclusives, and there's only 5,000 made only. How real is that? And they have numbers written on the foot and
No, it's
all that
legit.
shit.
Some of
And
those are
it's-
legit.
And it's crazy how much they charge for them. And they're like, I'm just thinking, like, every time I go to Comic-Con now or any kind of convention, I think, look at all these toys that are never going to be opened.
Oh, that's true. That's very true. Well, some of my favorite sketches are from Saturday Night Live, are making fun of our generation and the collecting toy market.
Right.
But it's just what I think about though is like how fortunate we were as children to have the luxury of having all of these brands to choose from and multiple characters and to play with these things, play sets, vehicles, whatever, boys and girls alike.
I just think the Star Wars, how every fucking character in Star Wars, even the extra that gave Luke coffee during like a scene,
You're so dumb.
was a
Yeah.
fucking toy.
Well, now because it's had 40 years, you know what I mean. But
Yeah,
that's
whatever.
probably why your vintage collection is so popular. When I say vintage, I mean the new cards or whatever
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you're referring to. But I feel bad for kids today because I feel like we make them grow up so fast. Like in the 90s, I made fun of Disney Channel a long time ago because it's like all those shows were about kids running their own businesses and their parents were stupid and like none of them were playing with toys. It's like something that you get frowned upon. Like you can't play with toys if you're older than 7 now because that's a kiddie thing, which is unfortunate because a kid's imagination goes for an extended period of time, at least till like they're 12. Whether you want to admit something like that or not, that's what it is.
Or 40.
But because like, but it's but you know what I mean though. Like they're kind of shunned out of it, so then the market kind of slowly died. So ironically, all of these brands are still catering to our generation because
Well, we grew up with it, yeah.
right. So like you said, Star Wars never really left. They've constantly kept Transformers going. Hasbro's like the key.
Right.
Mattel a little bit, but
Well-
like He-Man is making a comeback right now. He-Man's huge.
I know, but I've been also looking at a lot of the toys that are in the market because I was looking for the Scooby-Doo toys for you the other day.
It weren't for me. They were for my son. But
Whatever, in
carry on.
Walmart. Whatever. You,
Keep going. Yes.
as he's playing with them in the background. Anyways. Wow.
Keep going.
And I was noticing
Go.
a lot of the toys, you see them, like, I get kind of jealous because, like, yeah, we had some neat toys growing up, but some of the toys they're coming out with now are so cool that I wish I had them. Like, there was a time when Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z came out. I've been watching Dragon Ball Z since I was probably 7 or 8 years old when it was on Channel 13. A lot of people don't know that it was on Channel 13 before Cartoon Network. Ooh. When it
Right, there you go.
it was dubbed up to
Yours
53
in
episodes.
In SoCal, guys, in case you don't know. Channel 13 SoCal.
You're right. Southern California.
Yeah, keep going.
Anyways, so I used to watch it forever, and like there wouldn't be any toys out here because no one knew what it was because it was
Right.
an anime show that this channel took a chance on and blah blah blah, and then eventually the Cartoon Network
Well,
got
let me
it.
ask you
So
real
they
quick right there. Let me ask you real quick there. If you wanted them, you probably had to go to like Japan.
No, we
or
went
something
to
like that,
there was
or
a there
special novelty stores. Maybe
there is anime stores. There was one anime store I remember in the the San Fernando Valley. We actually drove to. My mom would take us, and they had all the anime toys we wanted. But that was the only place we knew where to go. The only place because everything was imported. Then when Cartoon
Right.
Network got a hold of Dragon Ball Z, they started making these cheap little toys randomly here and there, and other places started taking chances on it in the beginning. Like I remember I got these little 2-inch Dragon Ball Z figures out here, but then Dragon Ball Z died for a while, right? They finished dubbing it. They finished dubbing all 272 episodes, and then it stopped, right? And all of a sudden, popularity just boomed like almost 10 years ago, just boomed like crazy, where they made a whole new series.
yeah.
And now it's just so popular. The toys that are coming out now, I had to go buy one the other day because I'm like, they've never made it. They've never made a teenage or early teen, preteen Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and I'm like,
Right.
that is so cool. So I had to buy it, and I'm like, if I had toys like this when I was a kid, I'd be so happy. But at the same time, I mean, I'm sure
but
when
they're
we,
more expensive because the
Of
ones you're
course,
talking
yeah.
about, like those Bandai ones.
They
right?
are,
Or-
yeah. It is a Bandai one. Bandai is one of those Japanese companies that makes really good toys, though. They've been making Gundams forever. That's where I know them a lot from, like the Gundam models. Where you buy a model out here in America, you would be like, all right, I have to get the glue, and you put together. Usually they're cars or they're like boats or like that. But Japan made Gundams and Transformers and Autobots. Not Autobots and Transformers, the same thing, but
Yep, yeah.
Voltron and things like that, and models like that. But they're snapped together, no glue
Which is
needed.
awesome.
You just
that's
snap them
awesome.
together, and then you have a toy. Now it's like a sturdy toy if you built it right. And I built so many. I think I had like 130 of them at one time.
That's impressive,
I mean,
actually.
you made me when I was about to throw away like 50 of them away, and you're like, you can't throw them away, and I'm like, yeah. So I made a collage with them. Remember that? I made a collage with them.
Yeah, you made something very creative, and it looks awesome.
So toys in general in entertainment spark nostalgia for shows you've watched, sparks your childhood. It sparks so much of like your livelihood, and it's just interesting that kids these days may not get the full. They probably do, but at the same time, now that we have our generation likes to collect them and keep them in boxes, kids aren't going to be able to afford all the toys they would like to play with, because now it's becoming so expensive.
Well, like I said, they're just catering to the adult market.
Well, yeah, because we have the money, so we'll pay it.
Right, but adults have children, and like for example, for me, I mean, this, but like I've made it a mission in my life to make sure that my kids have the stuff that I liked growing up.
Right.
One's that way I don't want to blow my brains out watching something like Teletubbies or I don't know, but like.
Oh my god!
But for me, it's more about like I thought the character developments in a lot of the Hasbro shows were really well done, and Filmation shows. So for me, I liked those characters. You could predict what they were going to do, what they were going to say. Just like you watch Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Wow.
You've watched Rick and Morty. If you watch Rick and Morty, you pretty much know what each character is going to say or do in a situation. You know what I mean? Like you just know.
Right.
So to me, that's the same thing. So like when that says that's good established characters and development and storytelling. So when you have that, it's kind of fun to reimagine it as a child, right? And there's so many characters to choose from.
Right.
Like this perfect example. Like I love the 80s because like you want to talk diversity, right? Like take G.I. Joe for example. Like hundreds of characters, and like there's literally a character for everybody.
G.I. Joe.
So like you could just pick the characters that appealed to you. You know what I mean? But they were all working together. They were all trying to fight for one common goal. It just worked. So with my kids, I try to make sure that they have those those things.
Well, just imagine too, like back in the day, playing with toys. If we were the same age now, like we're in in our mid 30s, early 40s, 20, 30 years ago, and we're trying to get these toys, it's looked down upon. We're nerds, dorks, whatever. But now that term has changed to if you're a nerd or dork, you're hot, you're into stuff. Like now, and that's why we're getting more. I'm just saying, like there's cartoons now for adults. There were no cartoons for adults really back then.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. Well, again, it goes back to their catering to our generation.
No, it's just growing because it's our generation creating it too.
Right. So for me, the next point I was going to make is you joke about people keeping in boxes and stuff.
Right.
I the ones that I bought, I don't keep in boxes. I display them because I think it's fun to look at.
Are you segue into eBay?
Not yet.
Okay.
You can do that.
So we need to do that. Okay.
But I'm just finishing up the nostalgia aspect, and then you can go further with it.
But
basically, when it comes to nostalgia, for example, like when you're collecting things, I was an Army brat, so we moved everywhere all the time. And I think what I like the most about my collection that I have is I didn't have a lot growing up. So as an adult, of course, you try to overcompensate by buying the stuff you never really had, or your favorite one broke or got lost in the move or whatever.
Brings back good memories or something.
You got good memories. So like for me, a certain toy reminds me of a friend that I knew when I lived in this location or that location, or this is something that reminds me of this time or that time. So it's more than just the toy itself. It's also the memory of the people you shared them with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sort of so that's part of the reason. Like, oh, I remember, for example, He-Man. I was in Hawaii when He-Man came out. That's where I was living. So at the time, and so it's kind of funny because when I went back to visit my hometown in Hawaii, like 20 years later, it's really dumb, but I purposely brought an episode of He-Man to watch in Hawaii just because I just wanted that feel. I just wanted that feeling. No, I just wanted that nostalgic feeling. Like, oh my God, I haven't been here for 20 years. This is the last thing I was doing when I was here was watching He-Man. So after burning myself all day at the beach, I watched a 20-minute episode of He-Man as I rubbed aloe over my burned skin. It's like, but it was awesome. It brought back this really happy memory of a time as a child. Like, oh, this was what I was doing 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's good memories. You want good memories.
So, it's stupid.
You know what they say? Good memories can save your life.
There you go. So now we thought we wanted to talk about toys today because Joel and I both have gone into the toy business.
selling toys since during this quarantine.
Just for the hell of it.
During the quarantine time, we
got bored.
We can't work in entertainment, so what's the next best thing? Let's sell toys.
We're just gonna sell toys.
We're gonna sell toys for a little bit. So we're selling toys, and it's just remarkable. It's funny because it's just like almost like the aspect of like what makes a good movie. What makes a toy sell for so much money sometimes?
Yeah, and it's impressive, right?
Right,
You're
right.
surprised at what sells and what doesn't.
So I look at some of the toys, some of the Star Wars toys I'm selling, and the vintage cards, and I look at like, oh, this is a cool.
Where did you get these? Just
my dad has been collecting.
Private collection?
It's not my collection. My dad has been collecting for the last 30 years of his life or longer, and I'm not going to get too much. I'm not going to get into too much into detail of it, but it's a house full and a garage full of toys, and I've just been going through it. He stopped collecting it, and now it's time to start cashing on it and have him enjoy the fruits of his labor, right?
Right.
So I'm going through some of the Star Wars toys, and some of them, I'm looking at one of them or two of them, and I'm thinking to myself like, oh no, because I don't know Star Wars as well as Matt does.
You don't have a personal.
But I do know Luke and Han and Leia, so I'm seeing these characters and how detailed they are. I'm like, oh, these are going to sell more, and I'll put them on eBay. And they'll sell for like $20, $22 for a $10 toy, mind you. Still not
probably
bad.
Bought for $7 or $8 at the time.
But then like one like Commander Cody, a stormtrooper, or whatever. I don't even know who that character is. He looks like a fucking stormtrooper. Why do I care?
He's one of the main characters in the prequel trilogy. But
whatever. And these are the 3.75 inch figures, right?
3 3/4.
3.75.
Yes, I get it. You have to type it in that way. Keep going.
Anyways, and it sold for like $120. I'm like, what is with this character compared to the others? It's just amazing. But also, there's so many different variations. I had a guy email me. Saying, hey, you have two C-3POs on eBay, and they're both vintage cards. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And he's like, well, one you're trying to sell for $20, and one you're trying to sell for $9.99. I'm like, well. One of them, I said, well, there's two different variants. One is it's the original vintage where it's in the clamshell clear case, and the other one's not. That's the only difference. But they just recently both sold for those prices I asked for because of the stupid variants. Of that stupid reason. Yeah. It's just amazing by the littlest stupid things.
Well, it's funny, too, because back in the day, Star Wars, the original line, they had to pump them out so fast. They lost molds. They kind of screwed up the thing, so the variance was an accident. Like they were just trying to pump out as many toys as they could.
Right. Nowadays, keep up with demand.
Now
they do it on purpose.
They do it on purpose.
Yeah.
They kind of sneak a couple in.
But sometimes
Willy
you
Wonka's golden ticket. like not every bar is gonna have a.
It's just crazy. Ticket. And then things you think are gonna be worth money are worth nothing, and then things you're like, oh my god, that went for how much? You're like, holy crap. Like I found like a Hulk toy, a Mecha Hulk toy. By the way, someone just bid on it. It's open, by the way. Remember I told you it's kind of open?
Right.
It's at $136. This is it's maybe a $14, $20 toy.
Yeah. But I mean, to other people, it's not. You know
right.
What I mean?
It's
it
something.
Could be that
it could be
toy
it could be that nostalgia.
Fire, you know what I mean?
Well, I sold that.
A hurricane blew it away.
Right.
And they just wanted it back.
I sold that farting dinosaur remote control thing. The guy apparently put on my positive feedback saying thanks for the toy, blah blah. I sold it for $100. It was only a $30 toy when it first came out.
Right.
But he bought it because he said he needed it for his son because their dog chewed it up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he didn't tell me that sob story before bidding on it because I feel like it's fair. Thank you for not telling me that because it's fair to like not push that pressure on me. But he still made an offer lower than what I was asking, and I took it because I knew what the value kind of was in a sense, so I just went with it.
Right.
But it's people are buying toys for that reason. People are buying it for their collections. It's just crazy. It's a remarkable world of toys and the littlest things like. And I was even talking to people like, oh, I'm selling these toys. But and I'm like, oh, the box got destroyed. Well, what's wrong with the toy? Nothing's wrong with the toy. The box is destroyed. The thing is, the box is what's worth the money.
Yeah.
It's
No,
the
there's a lot of
crazy
people
thing.
that sell just boxes sometimes.
It's got to be in that box. Well, because remember, I had to get that Halo box for my Xbox when it came out, the special edition. I wanted the box. It's true. It's part of the package. It's part of the deal.
Right. Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going strong, and companies
Yeah.
like Funko add an extra element to it because they're
Funko
the
Pops.
Pops.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? To me, what a
What simple.
What brand do they not have
What-
rights to? You know what I mean?
Simple. What such simple thing they did, and now they're just
Well, and there were
they're
so many
making-
things before it too, like Mighty Mugs and stuff, and those never took off.
Right.
But for some reason, the Pops just took off. It just worked. It's just the right amount of whatever they needed to sell millions of those things. It's unreal. People have hundreds of those things without even blinking an eye.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And I saw them at Comic-Con one year, and I'm like, geez, to come up with that idea would have been amazing. But then every year they give me more and more and more. Now they do these 30-inch ones that are huge.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's-
Well, they're also doing pins now, so they're switching
really?
to pins.
Oh my
so
God.
pins have been I know a great guy. I'm gonna
That's
do a little
up and
plug for him.
down.
Josh, he's a good guy. He runs a store called Mighty Pins.
Mighty Pins, Anaheim, California.
Anaheim, California. I'm gonna give a shout out to him because he's helped me out plenty of times in the past.
Helping me out right now, buddy.
Yeah, he sells a lot of pins, and people are really popular about that. So they like those pins. So if you're interested in pins, go to Josh's store.
The thing is, pins have never gone away. They've always gone up and down. It's kind of weird. Certain things don't go
Right.
away, and it's
Kind of like the Beanie Baby craze or the
That's
Furby,
gone.
like you said. The
oh
Furby
my God,
phase,
my
you know
dad
what I
has
mean?
50 Furbies.
Oh my God.
Anyone
50?
want
Seriously?
one or more? There's a whole closet full. I should pick them up next
Oh my
time.
word! Are you kidding
Yeah.
me?
I sold one for $100.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But not all of them are a thing. Furby, there's elongated Furbies. It's a cult. Look it up on eBay. I thought they were actually toys. No, people take their Furbies and make them into boas, long boas. It is
Okay.
creepy as fuck. Look it up.
So they're wearing them like scarves and
They
shit.
can, but they have them around. They look like giant furry snakes with Furby heads, and it's creepy as all hell. They have them wrapped around couches, and some people made them really long.
Oh
they're
my God, that's
they're in their
hilarious.
beds. You know how people have throw pillows.
You could make
There's
a Hydra
Furby.
of furries
Yes.
with all your dad's furries.
I think someone
you know what I mean?
did. I think someone did, and it's creepy as all fuck. But going back
Wow.
to the Funko Pops, not only are they awesome collectibles, there's people online that make custom Funko
Yes.
Pops of you.
Yes.
Which
Well,
is amazing.
yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That's true. That's
yeah,
awesome.
custom action
Yeah.
figures for yourself as well. A lot of people do that actually.
Oh, that's funny. I actually made a custom action figure for my brother because one of the running jokes we had when we played Star Wars Battlefront, the video game, was our own teammate would kill us a lot. The computer-generated bot, and his name was Thrak Farrell. And I've said this numerous times in multiple things. So, anyways, the running joke was every time we lost, we'd look at Thrak's stats and they'd be awful. So we made Thrak Farrell action figures for each other and put them on cards just to.
Oh, that's cool.
We called it Special Edition because the guy was so bad at what he did, you know. But anyways, it's kind of funny. But so yeah, that's what I'm saying. All these things are kind of cool. But we were talking toys, and I don't want to get. For me, I liked my toys growing up a lot. I hold them dear. I feel like I've rescued a lot of vintage toys because some of the toys I have now are as old as me. You know,
Right.
a lot of the G.I. Joe play
Yeah.
sets and vehicles I have that haven't been remade or reissued.
I have a couple dinosaurs toys that I have around the house, and people ask me about them. They're literally toys. Those are the first toys I remember having growing up.
Right, and I have original Transformers too. You know, still made out of die cast metal. Some of the paints still technically have lead. Like my Voltron has lead paint. You know,
I still get yelled at by my dad because we had the original firehouse for the Ghostbusters, the original
Oh, that's
that
cool.
3-story,
Yeah,
and it got thrown out during a move, and my dad's so pissed off that got thrown away.
You know what? I'd be pissed too. That was a pretty cool
Yeah,
firehouse. You know?
no, that thing was awesome. I can remember it right now so thoroughly. We used to play with that thing so hardcore.
Well, it's funny that you say that because Walmart, that was one of the exclusives that just came out. So if you're interested, it's probably you can find it on eBay. It's not in Walmart's anymore, I'm sure, but they just re-released all the real Ghostbusters toys.
I'm gonna look up the real Ghostbusters toys on eBay after this.
Yeah, averaging $20 to $40 a piece.
Jeez, it's crazy. It's like crack.
So
Sorry,
this
it's not like crack. Crack's cheaper.
It's so dumb. So I know we're running short on time, but I wanted to mention comics real quick because they're laying off people at DC. They're laying off people at Marvel. Comic industry has been criticized for going too woke, too crazy, alienating the original fan base, and other people are not picking up on it because of that. With the digital age, with the coronavirus kicking into play, and people less likely to buy physical copies, going green, not wasting paper, take your pick, whatever the reason. The physical book, do you think that is a dying art, or do you think it will recover? And if it is a dying art, do you think it'll be a collectible, like a true collectible at this point? Kind of like Waterworld. It's paper! You know what I mean? Like, I feel like... do you think comics will be like the next high commodity someday?
Well, comic books
Because it
right
hasn't
now,
been for a while. They kind of hit or miss with comics,
They do, and it's like you can't. If you have a collection of comic books, you can't. One or two comics aren't worth anything, but like the whole series of one will make it worth. Like say like you have the whole series of House of M, Marvel, but you're missing like comic book 4 of that. Your collection's probably useless. No one's gonna want to buy it. But if you have number 4 in there with all of it, then it's worth like $3,000-$4,000.
But that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be like that trick. Like you might find somebody that has 4.
I think Marvel. I think all the comic books. I think we're gonna see an age of change to. I hope it never does die, but I see a change into the digital realm where it's all digital.
That's what I'm saying. It's only digital from here on out.
I mean, I'm hoping it's not, because having a book in my hand, having something tangible in my hand is so much better than buying digital content. But I don't
what I'm
know.
saying. So
they may still
go digital.
They may still make the comics on demand. You know what I mean? Like digital, like because they're going to still cater to the collectible people because we drive that market in a sense. So you're probably going to see more digital copies of it. But if you want to buy that comic book, they may not make it until you ask for it. You know what I mean? Or it's a limited supply. There's only 100 made each comic, and they're not going to make any more. So yeah, it may drive the prices up. But it also, we may not see
third-party markets. That's the thing.
Right.
Getting back to the eBay stuff, a lot of, toy collectors, they're really upset because, like, the average human being that just wants to find, like, for example, you talked about the real Ghostbusters. I think it's interesting because a lot of people wanted those, and it was only a Walmart exclusive. And, there's, people say that, like, the employees of stores will tend to, they get first dibs, so to speak. You know what I mean? They know when the shipment comes in, they got it, they can buy it. And then, they post it on eBay and sell it for triple amount of prices because all the stuff that should be on the pegs are not on the pegs.
Right.
And so that third market demand is like getting higher and higher. I mean, technically that's illegal, but I've noticed a massive spike because of the coronavirus. Like you mentioned the Scooby-Doo toys. Like I had to order some from friggin' England. I had to order from Amazon UK to get my son these Scooby-Doo toys because I literally could not find them anywhere, and everyone was scalping them on eBay and Amazon for like triple the price. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like my own kid can't even find toys. So as a parent, it's like incredibly frustrating in this day and age when they start making all these exclusives and stuff. So
especially during Christmas time, and you get your kid that perfect gift.
Right. Well, that's why
your gift is the family.
Well, that's honestly, just so you know. I mean, that's why when I see something, I just buy it, and I like tuck it away because around Christmas, I call it like the last minute buyers. Like people are just buying. You just watch them, and they're just throwing stuff in carts. Like I got to get something for so and so. I got to get something for so and so. And so for me, I'm like. I see something, I'm like, that would be cool to get, this person or my daughter or whatever over the year, and I just store it away, and then so when the time comes, I just pull it out, But
Matt, you're so smart.
No, I don't know. I'm just not normal, but
maybe.
So final thoughts on toys, Joel. Do you have respect for the market? Is it only man babies buy these things, or are there a lot of underground people that appreciate it?
All ages enjoy toys. All ages, and all ages, and even some of our feline buddies do too. Our fur babies. Yeah. I respect it. I have some toys, like I said, but I don't have that many. I've purged a lot. But going through my dad's collection makes me, have a little nostalgia. Like, oh yeah, I remember when these came out. Like, it's just, I have respect for them, and they have their place in my life.
Well, what I liked about seeing what you've done with your dad's stuff is like there's things that I didn't even know existed. You know, like you showed me for example, like the Samurai Jack stuff. I'm just like,
Right.
that kind of blew my mind. And I like a lot of retro things, you know. So for me to see that, I thought it's not Samurai Jack is old now, if you can believe that. But it's like, I like the detail, the sculpts of certain things. It looks very
Right.
retro. So
Yeah.
for me, my final thought is like, you know, I'm a sucker for a good toy. I really am. Like if it looks cool, it's kind of like I have like this little museum set up. You know what I mean? And I just walk
Shocker.
through my museum. Yep, that's it. And my son wants to play with them all the time, and I say
No.
no.
Oh. You have your
But-
own toys.
But I have doubles of everything I have for the most part that I plan to give to him someday. So it works out well. Same with my daughter. I've already
But
got
they
a
don't.
stockpile all lined up.
Oh, we know about your toy store, and they don't get them right away because that's spoiling them.
That's right. They have to earn it just like everything else. So on that note, thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter. My name is Matt.
And my name is Joel. And I'm done.